Alrighty. Let's see how this is getting on. Time for some player choice. Let's see if everything successfully starts up. We're all in the right places at the right time, and I'll try not to snack too much while live on camera. I shouldn't promise that. Alrighty. Looking good. And everything's lined up in all the right places. So that's good. Alrighty. Jason asks whether they are first. I believe you are. I believe you are. This is also, actually, speaking of firsts, this is the first time that we've ever streamed on AI and Games Plus, I think. I think that's right. Because even things that have been, like recently, like there's stream archives that appear on AI and Games Plus, but I tend to stream them over on AI and Games, so I think this is a first. So yeah. We're going to play some games. We're going to see what all the fuss is about, I think, critically. Given we've got a bit of player choice going on. Their second round of player choice voting is now live. And that's, it's getting interesting. We're at an interesting point, I think, in this round. Where people are developing very passionate opinions. Which is kind of the whole point of this exercise, but I'm also still kind of enjoying it. That reminds me, I need to go and actually dig out what people have been saying. Let's get over to the community tab. We've already had a whole stack of votes, and that's without me sharing each of the polls out to the main AI and Games channel audience yet. I think we've had, what is it? Yeah, we've had over 2,000 votes, I think, since Monday. Which is kind of exciting. Sorry, are you asking how am I eating these pretzels individually? With great restraint, I believe, because they are quite moreish. But I literally brought myself a thing. I was like, oh, this will last me for the first hour of the stream, or half an hour of the stream. No. Utterly destroyed. You don't think I'm very good at snacking? I think it's a fair assessment. I mean, I either eat too fast or I take too long. Like, there's no middle ground. I'm not very good at any of this. This is why we always do all the videos and we don't do live streams, because I'm better in a carefully produced environment. But yeah, I think tonight we're going to play a little bit of F.E.A.R. and we're going to play a little bit of BioShock. And see what all the fuss is about, because there are 2 of the, 16 games that are still left in the running for the vote. And I thought, you know what, let's just have an episode where I just dig into these 2 games quite specifically. Because I thought that would also be kind of interesting, because, well, BioShock kind of somehow... BioShock was like a clear winner in the first round. And then it happened again, and now it seems it's competing quite heavily against F.E.A.R. right now. So I thought, okay, well, let's just unpack these 2 games and talk about these 2 games specifically for a stream. I thought that would be interesting. Let me see if I can scroll down to the original. The original... Yeah, there we go. Let me dig that out. And bring it over to this screen right here. And so, like, you can see when we did the first streams, or the first set of rounds of votes, BioShock was up against Deathloop, and it just knocked it the fuck down. Knocked it away. And I was quite surprised. Like, on one hand, I was actually surprised both of these had made it into the running, but then particularly that BioShock was received so positively. That did sort of take me by surprise somewhat. And then we compare that against where's the other round of votes? Yeah, it actually did better. Check that out. So it got 88% of the votes against Deathloop's 12%. Meanwhile, in the elimination round for F.E.A.R against Insurgency Sandstorm, excuse me, it scored 79% of the vote. I mean, to be fair, that was about 800 votes it got off the back of the fact that it looks like there was 1,000 votes submitted for that particular instance. This actually had more votes, strangely. That was kind of the crazy thing. Let me, I'm getting weird noise there, so let's bounce back to me for a minute while I make sure all my system stuff isn't just sending me inappropriate noises that I don't want. And Chrome, for that matter. That's, oh god, my music player's still open. Let me see, what is it, just going to blare Slipknot or something? It would actually have blared Slipknot if I'd just left it running. So yeah, this is kind of where we are. We're going to bring up, I'll bring up the full suite in a second. But let me just double check. Yeah, good. Right. So, where was I? So this is where we are right now in the running. We've got the full set of eliminations happening. We just finished. So we were a little late in getting back to this because it was GDC and then WASD and a few other things kicked off. And then suddenly my free time disappeared. Also, I moved house just before GDC, so lots of things going on right now. But we'd finished up this round of voting over here, which we just talked about in the summary video that just launched on the Iron Games Plus on Monday. So, Left 4 Dead knocked out Halo Reach, Prey has knocked out Halo 3, Halo Combat Evolved knocked out Titanfall 2, Far Cry 3 has knocked out Star Wars Republic Commando, Quake 3 is defeated Warhammer Vermintide, Halo 2 pipped System Shock 2, Rainbow Six Vegas removes Unreal Tournament from the board, and then Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, I think, had a pretty easy start against Time Splitters 2. So, we're now over here on this side, and this was where we started off in the series. So, F.E.A.R, this particular round of 8 is F.E.A.R, BioShock, Half-Life, Doom Eternal, BioShock Infinite, Half-Life 2, SWAT 4, and then the 2016 reboot of Doom. And you'll note that even though we've got 2 BioShocks in the running, BioShock 2 is out, GoldenEye has been eliminated, the original Doom has been eliminated, as well as Arma 3, The Darkness, and, you know, Insurgency, Sandstorm, Deathloop, etc. So, we'll just jump in and have a little go. Alan says, Alan Zacconi, hi, won't be able to follow along tonight, just wanted to drop by and say hello. How you doing, Alan? I hope you're keeping well. We're just going to play a bit of F.E.A.R tonight, which I imagine, and a bit of BioShock, which I'm assuming you'll be quite familiar with. So, I think it's all good in that regard. Speaking of, if we have a quick gander over at... I'm going to swap screens again for a second, just so I can quickly do this. Where am I? There we go. Let's just pop that over and blow it up. So yeah, if we have a look right now at the state of things, the votes for round 2 have already opened up. I haven't shared all these yet on the main Iron Games channel. I'm running them all entirely from the Iron Games Plus this time around. wanted to kind of isolate. I wanted to try and bring all of player choice more into the second channel, whereas before it was a bit all over the place. So the votes have already kicked off. We're seeing some pretty interesting stuff already. But these don't have a huge number of votes. Like, so for example, this one here on Doom 2016 against SWAT 4, that's only had 240 votes right now. So we're going to wait and release each of these gradually over in the main channel, and then that will drive up more views because a lot more subs and people chilling out over there versus this channel for now. Like and subscribe, come on. So, having a little look, the only one I did share, which has then subsequently had a lot of votes, is this bad boy. So, ooh, there we go. Ooh. We said, right, round 2 of voting, I shared this poll over on AI and Games Plus. And what we've got, on AI and Games, sorry, not AI and Games Plus, we're at 1,000 votes and more. It doesn't actually tell me exactly how many votes until I go into like the back end or something. So yeah, F.E.A.R is currently sitting at 48% versus BioShock at 52%. We are not going to decide which game is the winner tonight. We're just going to play each of them. I'm going to keep the votes open until I've actually played through and done some analysis and discussion of all the games in each bucket, in each category. Conference, sorry. And then we'll announce all the results. Because also there's votes here. People can vote over in the poll that's actually in the pinned comment if you're watching this on AI Games Plus, and also on the video summaries. So yeah. Good evening to Frugal. Josh Cohen says, love your work. How are you playing F.E.A.R? So I am playing the F.E.A.R, I forget what fancy name edition they call it. It's the one that's on Steam. However, I do have to... So we're going to see how this turns out tonight, because the last time I played F.E.A.R on stream, it struggled a little bit, and I didn't know about this until recently. There is a... In fact, bear with me until I bring it up. Let's jump back to the screen for a minute while I do a bunch of resetting of things behind the scenes. And let's see, move that over here. Where'd Steam go? So it's just referred to as F.E.A.R in Steam. There we go. There it is. But it's actually, it's got a particular name if you actually have a look at it as... when you look it up in your Windows Explorer. F.E.A.R Ultimate Shooter Edition. There it is. So, I had an interesting problem the last time I streamed this, in that it began to get really bad performance drops over time. And I was like, what's causing that? And apparently... what causes it is having Logitech webcams or any other like media device that's Logitech owned. Apparently there was some sort of conflict with it, and it actually causes performance drops in the game. Now, I've never experienced this before, and I realize it's because I don't think I've ever streamed F.E.A.R to the audience before. Playing it on Steam is generally fine, and actually you can find a couple of mods that generally improve it. I find it, last time I played it, for recording purposes, it was generally fine. But, yeah, you know what? Let's bounce it around a little bit. Yeah, Frugal One, there's a problem if you have a large amount of... oh, sorry, just moving stuff around. Displays connected to it, etc. Now, why are you not streaming? You should have seen it by now. I love how I tried this earlier and it worked absolutely fine, but then as soon as I start trying to do it here, it doesn't work. Ah. Alright, come on. You can do it. Oofed. That's interesting. Alright, that's looking good over here. So let's reset it in the stream. Bear with me. There we go. All right. That should actually work now, hopefully. Hey! So yeah, there was, kind of commenting on Frugal's point, there was issues with it before. When I tried running this before, and it was giving me all sorts of grief. I actually went away and found out there is hopefully a solution to this. There is a patch direct input DLL if you need it. I have it. I've tried. I actually just installed it earlier tonight. So fingers crossed that is going to work. And yeah, we will give it a crack. And now here's the fun part. Do I have any save files? Ah, I've got those. Yeah, you know what? Let's just, because the opening 30 minutes of this game, I was gonna say, so Josh, you're saying, I forgot how F.E.A.R on Steam is available only in that bundle, etc. See, to be honest, most of the time, see if you're really looking for a copy of it, things like sites like Fanatical and stuff like that tend to have it pretty regularly, like on the cheap. It's not terribly expensive. So yeah, let's get in and have a little look around. And hopefully the game actually runs relatively smoothly. So I'm gonna go and get a gate open for this fella. Right, now I'm just trying to remember what all my buttons are. Oops, didn't mean to drop that. It's the flashlight button again. I think it's... There we go. But yeah, so the game is actually looking not too bad, considering that I'm running it on a non-supported resolution. So this is running, what, 3840 by 2160 right now? Although the UI scaling is quite funny. Alright. You know, I remember when this happened the first time and I was so confused. I was like, what was that? Did that actually just happen in the game while I was playing it? Or let me just double check I've got my flashlight is X. There we go. I couldn't figure it out. But then X just seems like such an awkward button to put that on. So yeah, there's a lot of, particularly I think the start of this game. I was going to say, at the start of this game there's not an awful lot of combat straight away. He says, getting into a gunfight. Because it's kind of setting up it's setting up the context. Yes, and funnily enough, I think Frugal says, I really wish you'd get rid of FMVs in games in general. They age horribly. Like, true, I think quite often it's you're not, particularly back in the days of games like F.E.A.R, you wouldn't have been able to deliver with that kind of visual fidelity as a real-time cutscene. So instead, that was often the alternative. But yeah, they don't age particularly well at all. Let's see. J? Is that Jai or Jai? I don't know why the YouTube comments aren't appearing in the live chat feed on the stream. I love the channels, plural, thank you. I think I've watched every video on YouTube about Prey Moon Crash. I need to, so actually, funnily enough, we're going to have a bit more on, well, Prey is still in the running right now, which is quite exciting. I need to get back and play more of it. I was, so, funnily enough, that my first time ever playing Prey was because it had been voted on as part of player choice, and I need to go back and play more of it. I have such a... Between GDC and the house move and everything else, there's been so many little things that have just got in the way that I now have like a little backlog of stuff that I was in the middle of playing that I need to get back to, and Prey is most certainly one of them. Okay. So this is the first encounter, the actual first proper encounter in the game. So of course, I shouldn't have to explain this, I think, at this point. But as we know, this is goal-oriented action planning, a technique that was derived from other AI technologies, but was invented as GOAP, as we consider GOAP. GOAP was invented for the purposes of this game. And what it does is it takes the finite state machines... Nope, I caught his attention. It uses the finite state machines that are popularized by a lot of 90s games, you know, particularly the Half-Life implementation. And then it uses a planning technology to figure out what are good actions to do in a sequence. Because the state machine is always like, oh, we're going to execute a particular animation and move the character around. So the state machine is just told, move to this location, run this move, run this navigation, run this animation that goes along with it. But then the planner is building together a sequence of actions, so it might be, oh, we want to run into cover, but that's actually telling it to do multiple different, you know, transitions within the state machine. Oh, he knows I'm here. Physics, bro. Oh. And so now they're all responding to the fact that there has been a disturbance nearby. They're not communicating with each other, remember, they don't do that. But they are aware, and they are being told what to do. Oh, shift is my ADS, right. Whereas right mouse is my melee attack. That's going to be confusing for a bit. So now they're in an elevated state, so they're going to be looking for me. And trying to eliminate threat, as it is. And that threat is me. So often the threat is reduced by going into cover, or by attacking me outright. I always love how the physics is more accentuated when you're in the slow-mo. Generally, it just makes the slow-mo more fun. You know what? We need more slow-mo in shooters. I am a big fan of that. I think it deserves a comeback. Was that all of them? Sometimes there's another one. Let's see. Brigo says, I've been having fun playing Far Cry 6 this week. The AI in that game is in a sad state. I have not played... I played 5 during the pandemic. I haven't played 6 yet. I'd be interested to see how that... I don't know. I was kind of personally just a bit tired of the whole formula, really. With Far Cry 6 not that long ago. But still, would be keen to... I'll be playing it at some point. I need to... What is it I'm finishing? So I'm playing Prey. I was playing the Dead Space remake. I bought the Resident Evil 4 remake, and I haven't had time to play it. And now I'm like, here we go, another encounter here. I was really hoping that I would also get time to play the Resident Evil 4 remake before Street Fighter 6 and Zelda coming out, but that didn't happen at all. Right, there's still another one usually, isn't there? The game does a really good job of just creating these scenarios where they've got all these interactable objects and things to just play with, and it just, the fact that it's all in terms of metadata just kind of plugged in for the AI to recognize that it's there is kind of what's the selling point of this game. It's, you know, the fact that he could just jump through that. I mean, it would have been cooler if I hadn't actually shot the glass out and then he shoots right through there. Oh, I've caught someone's attention. Have a grenade. I love physics. Oh. Whew. Alright. Josh says the Resident Evil 4 remake is wonderful. Mercenaries mode is great. Yeah, I was on sort of a bent of Resident Evil of late because I'd finished Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I also then finished Village, and I really enjoyed Village. I thought Village was great. And I also finished the Resident Evil 4 remake. It is a remake. That was on the Oculus Quest 2, but I haven't got a chance now to play that. Oh. You know, one of the things in hindsight is how good the barks are in this game. Just the amount of times where if they've raised awareness, you can just hear them sort of saying, oh, you know, hey, what was that? Did you hear that? Target spotted! And then they just open fire. And I don't even think it's like, in general, the quality of the barks is pretty good, but I think one of the things that works really well for it is, I'll have your gun. I'll have your grenades.
You have one new message.
One of the things I think that works, and it's a really subtle thing, is just how the sound design has been built. The dialogue in the barks, is it just this kind of frequency range that it's slightly above. Oh, that was a grenade, I think. I need to move. Ah! I was too busy talking to you. I think it's just at a higher frequency, and it actually means that you can hear it a little bit better. Because their voices sound like they're in a higher, like, octave than they should be, and it's like coming down the radio, and I think just it has such a great job of enabling for you to still hear the barks in the midst of combat. Uh-oh. That was devastating. Is anybody still... Oh! Yeah, it's such a subtle thing, but being able to hear roughly where the voice is, but also, like, they're pointing out I'm trying to flank, they're pointing out that I'm near the door. It's, or like someone just yelling target spotted, and it's just like, alright, okay, cool. Just being able to hear that over the noise of combat is just enough for me to know, oh, I need to turn around and face this guy right now. Because it's about to go down. And I find that's just, it's a really subtle thing that just this game just seems to nail really, really well. There we go. Oh, he's jumping through the window there, that's pretty cool. It's got Matrix vibes. It's got real Matrix vibes. Like the ability to just kind of like slowly shoot across like that. It's just really satisfying. Anyway, where were we? Ow, 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 ow! Come on, Tommy. Letting the team down. Shush. Once more with feeling. Monolith has been a little quiet. Yes, we haven't heard much from Monolith in quite a while. I have absolutely no idea what they're doing. Thank you, gentlemen. I'll take all your guns. Right. Let's try not to die this time. Come on. Let me grab it. How did I manage to grab this perfectly on the first two instances and then this time I can't seem to do it? There we go. Oh my god, his spine! Come on, jump through the window. Do it! Fine. What a buzzkill. Right, where's the other one? Still one more. There he is. Right. Let's try that again. See where we get to. Oh. Holy crap. Didn't realize there was two of them. Can't see a thing. I'll have that. Heal up. A tiny HUD. Then, so we need to go around here. Let's try and not die this time.
You have one new message. Genesis chat and accounting.
Actually, let's just take the opportunity to... Oh, it's F5 to quick save. Right, there we go.
We've been hearing a lot of loud noises. Have you seen a certain thing over there? End of messages.
Come on, out you pop. There we go. Didn't make the same mistake twice. And I think what's kind of interesting, you know, playing this again now, and God, it's not like I haven't talked about this game to death in a myriad of places, but one of the fun things is that, particularly at this earlier part before you're getting to see any of the other like kind of archetypes, what you're often seeing is it's just creating different scenarios that allow for the basic troops to just do stuff. So like, hey, here's another scenario where they don't know I'm here. So we get to see them acting in an idle capacity. Oops. I think the other one went upstairs, didn't he? Yep. Oh! Well, hello, and thank you for the free gun. And so I think that's what this game does really well, is that like the opening encounters, they've figured it out, they've got the tech that enables them to do what they want to do, and then you just get more of the same, and the encounters just get more and more complex. grenade at him. Well, that worked surprisingly well. There we go. So yeah, it's sort of, you're just getting more and more slightly different scenarios that are kind of, it's always creating something different. And it's forcing you to just kind of, and it's also allowing for them to behave in different ways. You get to see them hiding behind different types of cover. You get to see what happens when, particularly in this instance, they're exposed out in a courtyard. Lots of different ways in which you can kind of see how these systems can react to the player's behavior. And now it's time for spooky times.
Someone.
Riddle says, have you considered doing more videos on RTS, AI? I mean, I'm always down to do more of a given subject or genre. It's really down to what information I can find, really. It's if I can't find proof, either by pulling a game apart and being able to see the inner workings of it myself, or developer talks or whatever, then that kind of prevents me from doing that, really. But
Someone there.
I do have one or two sort of in the pipeline. I've got a, it's not a strategy game, I guess, the next one, but there are a couple of games that I've got. I think Age of Empires is probably finally going to make an appearance on the channel at some point in the next year. It really comes down to how much time I've got and how many videos I can make in a given time frame. But I'm always on the lookout for more stuff, and now I need to run away. Slow-mo explosions! King, yep, indeed, back to an old favourite. Because it's all down to yourselves. We're doing player choice. Everyone gets to vote on whether whether this game makes it through to the next round of eliminations. Of course, if you don't know, we're doing, for our first season of player choice, people get to vote on what is the best AI in a first-person shooter. And so I think F.E.A.R. was always kind of a given. I think that was going to be a seeded entry, I think, for this particular round of competitions that we were going to do.
You can't send him in alone, that's crazy.
He can take care of himself. Now move.
Be careful in there.
What's up, buddy? Look at you, you emotionless husk. Blink, damn it. Blink.
You'd better get going.
Alright, fine. Guys are no fun.
Don't you have work to
Do. Always found spectating StarCraft 2 bot to bot entertaining. Like, I know there's a whole community of people that love doing like videos where it's like you just have bots play bots and they just record these massive bot battles in all these different games. I see YouTube channels that do it a lot, which is, that's cool.
Is it the same bad guys? Looks that way. I'm a little short on details. I guess this ain't a covert op anymore.
Alrighty. But yes, TLDR, we should hopefully have more strategy games in the future. I'm trying to think. There we go.
You have one new message.
I love it. Voicemails. It's such a dated concept. There's an entire scene for competitive Dota 2 bots after they made the API public. Ah, I didn't know they did that. Should maybe have a look at that at some point. Sounds interesting. Let's slide down that way. The rats are getting spooked, and then she'll run across in front of me. There she goes. Can you tell I've played this too many times? That I know when most of the spooky... I don't know when all the spooky bits are. I am prone to forgetting the odd one or two. Nothing spookier than when the game freezes up to load. F.E.A.R soldiers always felt weird to me. The combat was always so quick that I never felt like I was playing around the AI's tactics. So I think this is one of the interesting things that, you know, if we think about it, it is, I think, an interesting reflection of how an awful lot of AI for video games has operated, is that you get away with the fact that these characters have a very short lifespan, and so you often might glean tactics on a higher level the longer the fight goes on. Grab. Ow! I should have healed up. Clearly. Yes, be sure to quick save off, and thank you for that. But often, that's the thing with these games, is that they just have to be smart enough in the context of what they're doing, because they don't live that long. Or in his case, they don't live at all. So they just need to look smart enough for that, like, 2-3 second window. Sometimes it's a 15-second window, but quite often in the heat of it, that 2-3 second window is part of the combat. Right, let's try that again, so he doesn't throw his grenade. Indeed, like, yeah, but this is kind of why what makes Alien Isolation so interesting for a lot of people, is because you are stuck with that thing for hours at a time. Very long periods of time, in fact. Depending on how long it takes you to finish the game. And so subsequently, like, you're kind of expecting the limitations of the character to be made all the more apparent to you. And it doesn't really happen as quickly as you would expect. I think by the time you get to the end of Alien Isolation, the limitations or like the seams, I often think of it as like the seams on it, are quite apparent. I forget where I need to go here. It's over there. Yes. Shoot the padlock off the door. And then up we go. Do. Oh. Here we go. What was that you were saying about playing around the AI's tactics? I mean, certainly I think one of the problems, or one of the issues I have with F.E.A.R is it takes too long to get to the interesting encounters. Like, I feel once you get to the office block, that's when a lot of the fighting gets more interesting. Uh-oh. Nope, that did not operate as intended. Down there. On you go. Physics. That was a waste of a lot of ammunition. What else? I'm sure there's there we go. Yeah, there'd be a health pack in here somewhere. Right, let's keep a going. How long are we at? We've been playing, streaming probably for... Well, we're streaming for about 45 minutes, but this game probably only about 30-35. We'll stream for another... See how far into this mission sequence we can get, because there's a couple of good encounters, I think, by the end of it. Pick up all the stuff. There we go. Oh, another...
Wastewater analysis summary addressed to an ARMACAM review committee. According to the abstract, there's some major contamination coming from upstream. I can't imagine why ARMACAM would be interested in letting F.E.A.R responsible.
Right. Alien Isolation is the only horror game you would replay just because each encounter with the alien feels new and organic. In every replay, other games like Outlast and Amnesia, it's the same enemies and the same patrols. Yes, I mean, I think critically, one of the things that Isolation does quite well is... Oh, here we go. It's about to kick off. I did it again. Oh, hey, hello. Alright, let's see how the AI actually begins to operate now that they've got a little bit more space. But yeah, like... Suppressing fire! That grenade didn't go as far as I want! That killed someone. Oh, there's more of them coming out. Uh-oh. I'm running out of ammo. Oh crap. That was interesting. Some coming round to flank at the side, some kind of suppressing through a grenade that didn't quite work. Are they all dead? Did I do it? I did it, Ma. I killed him. But yeah, coming back to the point about Alien, like, one of the things that Alien does quite well is it gates, you know, like we're seeing here. Like, it's all about progression and escalation. So the encounters in F.E.A.R are becoming more complicated, and then soon we start seeing new archetypes. So that the heavy gets introduced later in this chapter, if I remember correctly. And then like the ninja characters get introduced when we get to the office building. So they're continually introducing new toys into the mix. Think of it as like a toy box, right? You're just adding more and more tools to the mix. Oh, I completely missed Alma wandering by there, didn't I? And that enables for the player to get a sense of progression. The challenge is becoming harder. It's also becoming more varied, more interesting, because you're dealing with new stuff. And it's like, oh, that was cool. Like, they get to interact with this, you know, seeing them jump over the railings or climbing up and down the ladders or jumping through the windows. Like, you're slowly getting to see the AI do more and more stuff. And that, to the player, is like, oh, wow, cool. Like, you're seeing more of what the game has to offer. And Alien does largely the same thing, in the sense that, like, oh, this is the hospital corridor. This is a little bit more glitchy than usual right now. Oh, I died there, didn't I? Because I'm supposed to...
No.
Oh no, I didn't. It's a... I'm supposed to trip out. I think there's another one that I'm supposed to die in if I'm not careful. But, yeah. So, with Alien, you're slowly seeing more and more of what the alien can do. And we talk about it in the video that certain abilities... I have checked in. Certain abilities only become unlocked later on, based on what the player is doing, but also there are, like, hard designer controlled points in Alien Isolation where certain behaviors unlock. And so it maintains the freshness of it. And, you know, I think, I can't speak to Amnesia a lot, because I've... You don't look good. I haven't played an awful lot of the Amnesia games, but I did play first Outlast. I've been meaning to play Outlast 2 for ages, and I just haven't got round to it. It's on my Xbox, if I remember right. But yeah, like, particularly the first Outlast really suffers from, you can clearly tell where the monstrous encounters are due to take place. How many? Oh, I've got grenades, I can afford it. I think I was meant to see an explosion like that, was I? Oofed. There we go. Oh, hello. Ah! Was that another one? Or... it was another one. Tommy, that was a pretty good shot. He is dead. Thank goodness. Let's see. Games, yeah, so like I said, like Outlast and the like, you can totally see there's like it's often like there's actually like shelving that you slide through in Outlast, and that's when it tells you, oh, you're about to go into an encounter with one of the bigger, uglier, nasty enemy types, because it's clearly it's actually clearly constraining where that character can be, whereas Alien kind of finds smarter ways in terms of its visual design to kind of obfuscate that that's exactly what it's doing. Almost as good as the AI in Army of Two, says Jack. I don't believe that at all. Like, I mean, the AI in Army of Two was obviously better. Obviously. I'm just going to play like I'm in Call of Duty and just like bunny hop and shoot at him. Look at that, works perfectly. Oh crap, 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 crap. Like, funnily enough, I think once you get into the heat of the moment in this game, and like verticality and what have you, and just the sheer numbers are no longer on your side, the AI can actually begin to wipe you out pretty quickly, and that's where the slow-mo comes in handy. Easy. Moving around. There we go. Whew. Crap, 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 crap. Ooh, heal up. You're outright running away from me. Because he's trying to find ways to minimize his threat. And he couldn't find it. Because actually there's no cover point. Oh, is that another? No, I didn't just see things. Oh, there's another guy right there. Jeez. He can really catch you off guard in this part of the map. Whew. But yes, yes, Army of Two. Perfect AI. Can't... Fear's got nothing on it. It's not even worth discussing. Kind of a sidestep, I really want to see machine-generated voiceovers for the old Infinite Engine RPGs. Like, and also, what was that? Oh, crap, 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 crap. No, have a grenade. Oh, that got... that actually got quite hairy. Let's see. Do I keep... How many rounds have I've got quite a few rounds for the assault rifle. How did I do that? I've accidentally just paused the game, and I don't know how I did it. There we go. There we go. Keep the shotgun. Let's see. Yeah, there was a conversation there about voice-generated, machine-generated voiceovers for RPGs. And like, if quest designers could get them to write whatever dialogue they want without having to account for an actor having to actually say them. Like, yeah, that is an ongoing thing. There's numerous companies trying to figure that out right now. It's naturally there's a number of issues with it, because one, the AI tech isn't there yet. For the most part, it is improving. And I think you're gonna see, I think we're gonna see in the next, I was gonna say 12 to 18 months. I think we're gonna see it in the next 6. We're gonna start seeing tool chains and APIs that are actually beginning to deliver better quality voiceover that is entirely AI driven. Now, that then leads into, I think we're going to be in, well, alongside a lot of other generative AI, we're about to enter a very interesting era in which we're going to start seeing how generative AI can change, or what the appropriate legislation that needs to surround generative AI in order for generative AI to actually work. Because on one hand, it's like, well, yeah, we want to be able to protect the rights of voice actors because they're like, hey, you know, our work is being eliminated by these machines. But also, where do you think all the voice synthesis models were trained from? You know, this requires people to provide their voices. What if they start, and this is probably the next thing down the line, is we are going to start training voice models to sound like specific people. Because it's like, oh, we'd really love, you know, I'm trying to think, like, insert a game where, like, a high-profile voice actor came in and voiced a part in it. Maybe not Destiny 2. Maybe that's not a good example. How did I end up losing a gun? Give me my gun back. You know, wouldn't it be great if Nolan, like, you could just train an AI to be Nolan North's voice, and then you don't have to get Nolan North in every time you need to make a tiny edit. Now, on one hand, that's actually great, because one, it probably means that then it's going to be a faster turnaround on the work, and they can resolve things a little bit faster, which is great. The other thing would also be that you are, and I think this is actually the more interesting part, is that so you want to kind of improve production time and turnaround. So it's like, all right, cool, we got this voice actor to come in, or this actor to come in, even. Bear with me. Where did he go? He's floating. Did I just hear? There we go. Shotguns. There we go. I think what's going to be more interesting is what are the contracts that surround those voice contracts. It's like, okay, we're going to use you to do the bulk of the high quality stuff. So, like, particularly if we're going to do some motion capture performances, if we're going to do some cutscenes, like cinematics even, we're going to have you come in and record all those lines because we need it for you to deliver the human emotion behind it, right? Because let's face it, all these AI tools were not quite there with that element yet. But then it's okay, so what is your rights as a creator when they say, okay, now we're going to start using your voice in AI generated contexts, right? What right do you have as the creator? And then critically, I think, what ways in which can they challenge you in the event that they don't like what you did? Like a completely different version. Right, I mean, like you say there, like we got this voice actor to come in, now the voice script is locked for 6 months. So now it's like, well, actually, you could maybe get the AI to come in and do tiny bits of it. It's like, oh, well, we need to edit this tiny bit of the script. We could actually get the AI to do that tiny bit, but the rest of the performance is still intact. So that's one thing. I was going to say, he's about to come out any second now. Whew. Yeah, what was it? Somebody said it a little bit earlier about, what was it? It was in the chat. Let me scroll through. About seeing this on lower difficulty looks a lot of fun. I tried it on one of the higher ones. I guess ended up having to pick enemies off and hide a lot. Couldn't observe them. Yeah, like I'm not a big fan of. I've tried playing this game on higher difficulties and it becomes frustrating, and it stops being fun. Whereas at least here, I'm still being challenged a little bit. This is just normal difficulty. I've not. Oh, they're falling back to catch me off guard.
Fuckers are pulling out. Seeing a substantial mobilization on the satellite.
Right, where was I? Yeah, so you get the voice actor to come in. Right, so funnily enough, I think it's not a generative AI example, but this is probably the closest equivalent I can think of. Is woofed. Think about Cyberpunk's 2077. Not about the game itself or anything like that, but Keanu Reeves is in it, right? And there's Johnny Silverhand. Now, in that game, he is a fully designed, implemented character. And he's part of the story, critical. So there's this nice digital representation of Keanu Reeves that fully exists in that game. Now, one of the things that started happening with the PC version was people were modding it, and immediately they're like, I want to try and have sex with Keanu Reeves. Because who wouldn't, frankly? He seems like a nice guy. I get the impression he would treat you right. And of course, the first thing that CD Projekt Red started doing was clamping down on any instance of people creating these mods and sharing them. Because they were worried about it, which I cannot. Ah, that's I'm supposed to go that way. It's just not happening. I'm just going to give myself an epileptic fit. So yeah, they immediately started clamping down on all of these mods of Keanu Reeves, which totally understandable, I think, because they want to protect his likeness, they want to protect his image, and also they have a legal responsibility to protect his image and his likeness, because he did not, you know, as well-intentioned as a lot of people are, because, you know, people like Keanu and all that jazz, he's not, you know, he's not in it for people to go and start doing that with his likeness. So, well, maybe I am supposed to go that way, but I couldn't figure out how to get out. Oh, that's what I'm doing it wrong. Stupid controls. Let's try that again. Nope. Oh, I could maybe just... There we go. I see, I could... Oh, that's annoying. So yeah, they're protecting Keanu because they're legally obligated to do so, because he doesn't want anything to do with this. And as well-intentioned as the audience is in saying, hey, you know, look, we've done all these things with Keanu. Also, other people are just like, yeah, I want to make naughty things with Keanu Reeves' likeness, because ha ha ha, isn't that kind of funny? We just made Keanu Reeves do something inappropriate. So subsequently, the actor, or anybody, so if there's any voice synthesis models that are generated and it's clear that they're based on an actual person, there is going to have to be a legal agreement put in place that protects that person. Because what if then the designers, for whatever reason, decide that they say they want those characters to say something incendiary, or, even worse, they don't train the LLM sufficiently, and the model still enables. Because a lot of these emerging technologies are being derived off of the same tech, or even building off explicitly off of ChatGPT. Or GPT, rather. So, oh, scary moment coming up. And so then what happens if it says something that the actor doesn't approve of? So we're going to see, I think, a lot of conversations around this down the line, where people are going to want to protect their interests. And rightfully so. But yes, I can see huge potential. I mean, there's already been a few instances where AI-generated voices have been used. I think, what game was it? Jack, you're in the chat. You actually played this game. I think it was the Ascent. I think sort of isomorphic tactics shooter. All the non-player characters I think in that are actually voiced using AI voice synthesis. But funnily enough, I think what's going to happen is the same thing that's going to happen with a lot of these tools and tech. Once everybody stops trying to replace humans with AI because it's not going to work, for the bulk of instances where they're like, oh, we're just going to replace the human in the loop, it's like, no, that's not actually going to be effective. What we're going to start seeing is two tiers. We're going to start seeing the tier of voice acting in a game that is done by an AI, and we're going to see a bunch of voice acting in a game that is done by a human. And we're going to be able to differentiate between the two. And sure, it's not going to be immediately obvious to everyone, but you're going to start in the way that people kind of speak begrudgingly of asset flips and the like. Soon we're going to start speaking begrudgingly of AI tools being used for specific parts of your game. I have completely lost focus as to what I came from this direction, didn't I? Like, what way am I going? I have this problem when we get to this part in F.E.A.R. because I just think all the levels just look identical. Oh, I've got too many grenades. What a hardship. I think we need to sort that out. Yeah, let me just... Halfling Barista says, never played F.E.A.R. But I will someday finish BioShock. Ugh. Oh, there we go. Generative AI has massive potential for side quests. Yeah, but generative AI has had massive potential for side quests and roguelikes for about 15 years. It's just the effort that is required in order to make the technology scalable. And I think we're closer now, in a lot of senses, than we were 10 years ago. But at the same time... Oh, this is a scary bit. Because then the door shuts. Doesn't work. Creepy girl. Scary corridor. Blood from the ceiling. Can you tell I've played this game too many times? And then... Is it... No, it's in front of me. I forget. Oh no, I have to get to the door, don't I? And then it's behind me. There we go. Right, down here. What time is it? Right, we'll do another 10 minutes or so of this and then we'll move over on to BioShock. We'll play a bit of BioShock. But yeah, I think... Oh. Oh, this is a good place to end on as well, because... First of all, it's very dimly lit. I need to wait until my Because this is a trap. It's an ambush.
Alma. If Vettel finds her origin.
What the hell are you talking about? Who's Alma and what's origin? All right, buddy, get moving. Vettel's got to be close.
And ambush. Oh, I forgot. The door's locked until... There we go. Knock, knock. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. Shoot her in the face, says Handsome Jack. I did. Don't look at the explosion. Heal, heal. Oh! He just turned into an arterial spray. That was marvellous, that was. Oh dear. GPT-4 is also way less hostile than Stack Overflow. I feel like it needs to get, I think it actually needs to get a little bit more hostile. So I'm trying to figure out how to program this one thing, and it's like, you have three different versions of ChatGPT, like all being passive aggressive and giving you different suggestions. Oh, jeez. And none of them can agree on really what is the best approach to take. That is the true AI-driven Stack Overflow, I think. Remote booms. Where are you going? That was weird, I couldn't actually see the... Stick around. Oh, how did I walk away with neither gun? Oh crap, 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 crap. Alrighty. Yeah, this is when I get lost all the time and I don't really know where I'm supposed to be going. I've now done a big circle. Oh no, I just came from this way. This personally is the bit that I hate in F.E.A.R's overall design, is that I find some of the levels are just a bit too big. To a point that I get lost in them and I don't know where I'm going. Oh. Now I'm back. Where am I going? David Thomas, if we come across that badly in Stack Overflow, I don't think it's intentional. No, I'm just, it's kind of, you know, speaking from my own experience, like, you get people that are genuinely helpful and then other people who are not really in it to be helpful. I am so lost. That's a giant circle. Where do I go? Am I not supposed to try and get up there? But I can't remember how you get up there. You're dead. This is riveting streaming content as I'm just lost trying to figure out how to get back. Yeah, because I want to get up there. Somehow. Well. Let's head round. We'll figure it out. Right, isn't it? I think I need to go up and then across the pipes and then along. I think I maybe took a left instead of a right somewhere, and that's meant I went the wrong way. This is how you kill the fear in Fear. Is you just get stuck in a giant grey warehouse and you're like, well, the girl isn't going to come and kill me now because she's waiting for me halfway up the road. Like, where is that guy? I'm back here again. Oh, checkpoint. Progress. Hiding round the corner, you cheeky wee so-and-so. Right. Let's see, Halfling. This game seems ahead of its time, as has been noted. I think this has been a point that many have raised over the years, that this game is a little ahead of its time in many regards. Sad so few games see AI as a possible selling point. Funny that, because I think there's... So, tell you what, we're going to save the game here, and we're going to come back. But, funnily enough, like, one of the things that has been argued for many, many years, in fact, since way back when I was, not even when I was in grad school, when I was in school, there was an ongoing argument, let me just clear the chat for now, that AI was going to be the next big thing that was going to revolutionize games. And that, you know, this was to be expected because, and I remember this is an argument that has been bouncing around in sort of academic circles with regards to games. Even in some corners of game development, people have been making this argument for about best part of 20 years. Was AI is going to be the next thing to really push the entire medium forward, sort of thing. And you know, and whether that was, you know, and I think if you particularly look at where the industry was 20 years ago, we'd had things like Black and White, which was trying to do interesting stuff with neural networks back in the day. We had Facade became this huge phenomenon at the time, quite rightly for its technical merits, not down the line for what it became as sort of meme fodder on Twitch. You had F.E.A.R. You had, even going back to the late 90s, there was things like Creatures. But also stuff like The Sims was kicking off in the early 2000s. We were in this kind of nascent phase of like really interesting AI applications coming along. And the argument always that I heard was, you can't keep pushing down the line of graphics. So instead, we're going to start seeing people move more towards AI. And that is going to enable for a whole range of games to emerge. And particularly, I think there was a lot of interest in machine learning in the early 2000s, and that didn't really go anywhere. It didn't really manifest into anything because the tech wasn't ready yet, and it required more investment, it required more research. And funnily enough, like, that's where I come into this, or people like me, because I was a researcher and I used to be in a community full of researchers who were looking at this as this is something that needs to be pushed and needs to be experimented with more. And so, you know, that's where things like Facade come from. Even interesting ideas that have been percolating in that space. Someone mentioned in the chat earlier, Watch Dogs Legion was raised. Now, Watch Dogs Legion is actually derived from an academic concept. I even mention it very briefly in my episode on how the Play As Anyone system works, in that it is derived from academic research, and then they took that idea and expanded upon it. So there's been an argument for a long time that like AI is going to be the next big thing. Excuse me, but it required significant effort and investment and time and manpower, person power rather, in order to yield any returns. And I don't think the technology or like the standards within the industry were there yet. But graphics you could keep pushing, and you know, the industry has been trapped in this argument about graphics as being a mechanism to drive game development further and further and further, much like many other parts of like home entertainment, where visual fidelity is king. That's where we're going to keep going. And where I think we're hit, I would argue, in the last generation or so of consoles, we've had a really interesting point where the graphics aren't really if you think about the jump, and I think actually F.E.A.R. and BioShock are a good example, the jump in graphical fidelity from the kind of late PS2 to late PS2 original Xbox to Xbox 360 PS3 era, we saw a big jump. I think BioShock is in fact a really good example of that, because that was a game that was, you know, developed in Unreal Engine 2 and very high fidelity. It's not an Unreal Engine 3 game, contrary to popular belief. It's like Unreal Engine 2.5. But it was showcasing something you'd never seen before. Visually, it was quite stunning. Gears of War and other games of that ilk, you know, so we were going down that path with those consoles. And then we saw it again with like the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Big boost, big jump in graphics. We saw it again with, you know, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S and X, but the jumps are becoming less and less significant. And now we're getting into other areas of, well, we want to do higher resolutions, we want to do higher frame rates, we want to do ray tracing, real-time ray tracing, because that will give us higher quality real-time lighting. We're sort of burrowing down a path where you can only really take it so much further. Even things like, if you look at televisions, how it was, we went from, you know, cathode ray tubes to, okay, now we're doing plasma screens that can do 720p or even 1080p, and then now we've moved into Ultra HD and 4K and all this jazz. Like, funnily enough, like visual rendering is actually reaching an interesting point where they're going to keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, but it's good enough now for a lot of purposes that people don't care. Like, we're not seeing as huge a surge for the current, you know, like the top of the range new televisions that are coming out, because one, they're stupidly expensive and there's a cost of living crisis happening all over the world as markets are going bananas. But also, we're reaching a point where it's like, all right, okay, do I really need to see the pores in Matthew McConaughey's face when he's doing that speech at the beginning of Wolf of Wall Street? I don't know why that particular example came up in my head, but there you go. Just like, it's the order of magnitude gains are diminishing, and that's it. So subsequently, now there's an interesting I see these questions emerging of like, where's the other areas in which games can improve? And then funnily enough, now it's like, there's a whole subset of the internet and tech culture that's going, AI, surely we can improve AI in games. And it's like, yeah. Some of us, there's been a smaller subset of us all who have been banging this drum for a very long time. Because sooner or later, and I think we've actually reached that point, it doesn't matter how good the game looks if all the characters are dumb as a bag of hammers. And we're seeing that with so many like big AAA titles where companion AI or just base non-player characters or enemies that you're facing off against, they're not like re-implementing something of the quality of F.E.A.R's AI in 2023 should actually be like the base standard, you know? Not, oh, this is a great AI that we've implemented. It's like, no, that should be the base level of where we are, because there's so many other things, because the scale and complexity of these games has changed so much now that there's all these additional problems to be thinking about in terms of visual fidelity, behavior, like their animations. How do their animations sync with their actual behavior, their voice lines, their reactions to the world around them? Like so many, and these are very difficult problems. They're not solved problems. And you know, credit to so many people in the industry who work hard on these things in their commercial games. These are very, very difficult issues to try and overcome. And it's like, I feel like we should have collectively been moving down this path to try and solve these problems a little bit sooner. And at risk of, I'm about to start BioShock now because I'm at the risk of going into another rant. But if I had to pick a reason, looking at the state of games over the last 20 years, if I had to think of a single solitary reason why development in AI for games has not progressed as fast as it should have. Why are you not? Bear with me. There we go. Why is this just froze now on me? It has. It actually straight up froze on me. Let me try relaunching BioShock again. Right in the middle of my point as well. If I had to come up with a single individual reason for why the industry and the overall development of AI in the industry has not progressed at the same level that I think it should have over the last 20 years or so, I would actually point the blame at Call of Duty. Because Call of Duty became very popular off the back of Modern Warfare. Call of Duty sent us down a road where we were focused so heavily on online multiplayer for games. It meant that the focus of creating actually put the dialogue subtitles on. It meant that our focus on creating interesting characters, interesting AI, has was kind of put to the back burner because everyone was focused on let's create online shooter multiplayer games. And funnily enough, like when we talk about, look at my channel over the years, look at all the videos that I've made over the years. If you look at how many games I talk about where like influential AI that had an influence on the industry, how many first-person shooters do I wind up talking about?
You're special.
I'm talking about Half-Life 1 and 2. I talk about F.E.A.R. I talk about Halo. You know, even other shooters in this space, whether it's Crysis or Far Cry, all of them are experimenting with tools, technologies, methodologies, frameworks to facilitate AI in a video game. Yeah, in a combat-based video game. Call of Duty kind of pushed us away from that, because what it told us was we don't need any of this. What we just need is an interesting, compelling environment in which players shoot each other in the face. And so if you look particularly at the phase in the industry post-Modern Warfare, and I think critically from about Modern Warfare 2 onwards, how many games fell down the route of online multiplayer modes that are all dead because nobody was playing them when the game came out because they didn't have the scope and resources for it. That aren't playing it any, you know, or just the audience never took to it on day one. You know, fun fact about BioShock, the very first time I played it, I thought this was still part of a cutscene until I realised that I could actually move it, and that really blew me away in terms of just how good this scene looks. It still looks pretty great. I mean, that's quite visually striking. Sure, this is the remastered version, but even then, this is still fairly... Well, it's an oldish game now, I guess. It's well over 10 years old. But yeah, still looks great. So yeah, Call of Duty. I think Call of Duty has a lot to answer for in how it influenced not so much developers, and I think that's critical. It's more to do with the... It's more to do with... Oh, whoops. What's happened there? Oh no. Don't do this to me, game. Quickly I'll tabbed out and... There we go. Phew! It's not to do with the developers themselves. It's really down to how the industry and particularly at the executive business level, how people reacted. And everyone wanted a bit of Call of Duty money. Everyone wanted to do what Call of Duty was doing. And so all this time and energy and investment and resources has been put into multiplayer gaming. In building online infrastructures and building games that you can't play anymore because the servers are dead. Or they pulled the services because no one plays them anymore. And so subsequently, I think, funnily enough, at the same time, all this interesting AI stuff was happening. You're seeing the very genre that birthed it move away from it. Like I say, like Halo 2, Halo 3, F.E.A.R. You know, the F.E.A.R. trilogy never really went anywhere. Well, the whole F.E.A.R. trilogy is a bit of a weird thing anyway, because it was never made by the same people the longer it went on, and then they changed the AI toolchain under the hood. But, you know, when you think about Halo 2 and 3, we actually think a lot more about the multiplayer.
I chose something different.
And
I chose the impossible.
I guess, funnily enough, I think the one thing that was counter-programming to that was, funnily enough, games like Far Cry. Because they were doing large-scale systemic gameplay. And sure, Far Cry had multiplayer modes in it, but, like, nobody really cared. In the grand scheme of things, nobody really cared about those. I feel, funnily enough, like, subsequently, Far Cry is one of those franchises that was kind of advocating for the need for good AI in a shooter. Which isn't to say that the AI in Far Cry is groundbreakingly intelligent, but it solves an awful lot of design problems that we're still kind of coming up against now, because it was tackling the open world problem. And yeah, I think as Brooks said, why invest in good AI if you could just script it for the trailer? Never mind script it for the trailer, script it for the damn game. Like... And I say this with all due respect. I know this is a difficult thing to do. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but particularly the AI in like a lot of the Call of Duty games isn't particularly memorable. It's functional, it's competent. You very rarely see it be that buggy, but it's not particularly engaging. It's a shooting gallery. Excuse me, and I don't feel like you get the same level of engagement in like And I said this, I played the most recent Call of Duty. Not that long ago, I played the Modern Warfare 2. And it was fine, I enjoyed it. But I bought it for the multiplayer, because my friends were playing it. And... you know, I can't remember most of the campaign already, and I'm pretty sure I only played that like a couple of months ago. But yeah, speaking of scripting, this is BioShock for you. I think this is actually an awful lot of what BioShock does really well, is that it... and this is something that F.E.A.R doesn't do, because F.E.A.R puts all of its, like, kind of interesting framing that it does, and, like, positing of characters. It's all done around Alma, the little girl. Whereas the AI, you don't tend to see, like, at most you get to see them kind of wandering around. It's a weird bit of flicker on that there. It's uncomfortable. Whereas I think BioShock does a really good job of selling the characters that you're coming up against. Like, I still remember actually playing this the very first time. And I remember this sequence. And I was in the house by myself, playing it on my Xbox 360. This would have been, what, 2007? Something like that. And I was terrified to leave that bathysphere, because it just sets a tone really well, which subsequently, the longer you play this game, the more you begin to realise how much it's actually not that big a deal. But yeah, I'm being hunted by this splicer at the moment. Pick it up. Come on. So yeah, a lot more of framing these characters is quite scary. There we go. And you know, critically, I think this game does it better than any of the other ones. The later BioShocks, I don't think, are able to evoke the same mood. Given, you know, this is the first time you're doing it, right? So you've not seen this until now. What's that in the chat? It annoys me that the GDC vault is so damn expensive to access. I think that's generally annoying for everyone. Including all the developers who actually give the talks. And even for people like me, who organise the summits. It's generally frustrating, because it's a money-making business, and that's what
This little fish looks like
they're interested in doing.
Wonder if he's still got some Adam on him.
Nope.
Let's buck. Weak. You're a weak shopper. This little fish ain't worth towing it with no big daddy. Yellow. Always have been. You'll be no better off with metal daddy, little fish. See you floating from right.
Again, it's doing a really good job of, like, sort of introducing these characters, making them seem quite scary. Because their voices are distorted and they seem to be talking about something that makes no sense. You know, you're a fish out of water in this context. What the heck is that? That's the thing you saw in the box.
Look, Mr. Bubbles, it's an angel.
And that person, and the little sister's even more terrifying.
See light
Because she
coming
refers to
from
him as
the
Mr. Bubbles.
Wait a minute. He's still breathing. It's all right. I know he'll be an angel soon.
Alright.
You alright, Boyle? First time plasma's a real kick from a mule, but there's nothing like a fistful of lightning now, is there?
Oh. That still looks awesome. Alright. So now we're going to see a little bit more.
Slicer! Give him the combo. Zap him, then whack him. 1-2 punch. Remember, the 1-2 punch.
Where'd the splicer go? Oh, hello.
Come on! I just want to talk! Yeah, I know what I can wait. I've been waiting for a long time now. Come back! Please!
See, I thought he would just come running right at me. Oh, there we go. Chicken dinner. Oh.
I'm gonna leave me alone!
Alrighty.
Tell Ryan I'm sorry.
Elevator is on fire.
I didn't touch her! Come back! Let the
You're on fire and you're electrocuted and now you're dead. Marvelous. Alright.
Listen, I've got a family. I need to get them out of here. But the
So yeah, how many people in the chat have actually played BioShock then?
reach them in Neptune's bounty.
Because I realised, like, I think these remasters, so this is the remastered version of BioShock 1, so I think this came out about, I want to say 6 years ago?
I'll ever see my wife and child again. Go to Neptune's
Um,
bounty. Find my family, please.
But yeah. And again, it's often doing a really good thing. It's sort of conveying the aesthetic and the mood and the tone of it, and imbuing these characters with a lot more life. Like there's things like this here.
This is happening before and none. Why aren't you here? Why is it today and not then when you were warm? Why can't Mommy hold you to her breast and Baby and me! Baby and me!
And yeah, she was talking about a gun.
Changed everything. They destroyed our bodies, our minds. We couldn't handle it. Best
And I think that's perhaps like I think these elements alongside, say, the Big Daddy is probably what people, I mean, I'd argue what people actually remember the most from BioShock, in that it gives these characters a lot more life, and it makes them feel much more realized as individuals. And again, like the barks are doing so much work here. You know, they're all got these kind of weird distorted voices. You're, darling, where you going? You know, it's kind of, I don't know, evil Marge Simpson. Take out your money, buddy. I'm not your buddy, friend. So it's a very dated reference. Riddler says, loved it back in the day. 2 is actually my favorite. I would agree with that. I think that BioShock 2 is the best in the series. I think it does a lot of interesting stuff on a gameplay level. And also I think that it does an interesting job of introducing characters that tie into the larger narrative and tell the story from another perspective, and I quite appreciated that about BioShock 2. Handsome Jack says, I played it, actually paid for a copy? No. Well, who am I? I am not here to tell you off, because you did or did not play your video games through a somewhat legally defined mechanism. There we go. Yeah. Ah. Why is this guy still talking about toilets? I mean, good grief. Yeah, there we go. I think, again, coming back to my point, that this is kind of what people remember BioShock for, is that it does a really good job of introducing characters and enemy types and sort of giving you a sense of their threat, giving you a sense of the power that they have within this space, and just generally, you know, a little girl with a syringe just shoving it in a guy's head to suck out brain juices. Yeah, it's a striking image. Alongside, of course, the big daddy that goes with it. Now then, I was going to say, how do you... Oh no, I can't do anything right now because I'm just here. I think this is a cutscene trigger anyway, isn't it? Oh yeah. Here comes Daddy. Oh, whoops. What have I done? Oofed. Well, hello, sir. Press P to save your game. That's such a weird... Okay. I don't think I'll play the director's commentary right now. I am the commentary. As exciting as that might be or might not be. Uh-oh. He's gone.
I didn't mean to hurt anyone. That's all you got?
Yeah, like, again, I think it does a really good job. Like, one of the things that I think BioShock does is very effective at is instigating conflict. And when conflict starts, it kind of sets a tone for it, which is quite exciting and scary. There you go, definitely dead. But I think subsequently, once the combat is initiated, the limitations of the characters become a little more apparent. Oh, this is the... This is a trap. That's F. That's what I wanted. Oh, more of them coming. Down you come. And I think critically this also kind of speaks to it in that the characters are often in situations or create situations that allow you to exploit them. I think we talked about this when I streamed BioShock 2, but I do think this is one of the strengths of BioShock, is that it gives... It's not so much a... It is actually a kind of weird reverse psychology perception of intelligence, because it's often putting characters into situations that enable you to exploit them, making you feel more intelligent, and therefore it makes you feel that perhaps that the characters are smarter because you are able to put them into situations that you can exploit them for your own good. I would argue that is kind of the strength of BioShock in many respects. Again, here we go, we're setting a mood. Now, interestingly, did they ever actually break through? I've never actually stuck around to find out. It doesn't look like they do. Oh, I didn't actually go in, but I was close enough that I accidentally went over the trigger. Never mind. It's nice to play this again, I have to say. Like, it's been a long time, but... Google says, kind of felt like the PS3 was the first modern... I mean, if you want to say modern, I think what we really mean is, like, can render it higher than standard definition. Because we're now getting into, like, 720p, 1080p resolutions, and also... critically has, you know, shader support, has the ability to do... well, also just online gaming. Online gaming is attainable, which it previously wasn't. Well, it was, but it never was as the infrastructure wasn't as established then as it is now. You know, particularly when you think about... So I say this as someone who is an ardent Dreamcast fan. In fact, I still own my Dreamcast. It's the only of my older consoles I actually still own. A Sega Dreamcast. I loved it. Ahead of its time. Ahead of its time, that console. And a big part of that was they were trying to figure out the online gaming thing on a console. They were trying to figure out online multiplayer games for consoles, while still rendering at this kind of PS2 era level of graphics and doing experimental, interesting ideas, I think. Where did the bot go? Is it?
Keep away from my...
Where are you going?
So it's kind of neat, I think, what we're seeing here is that also, and this is funnily enough not something you actually see a lot of in F.E.A.R, to kind of counter, you know, the previous game that we were streaming, and that you don't see an awful lot of different NPCs fighting each other. Whereas it is something that you see in BioShock. Because it's trying to cement the idea of this lived-in environment that Rapture is, and its downfall and all that jazz. Ah, so that's how you bring that menu up. Nope. Else? Panic there, hearing the laugh, and then it's, oh no, that's not a person, that's the freaking vending machine. Ow, ow, ow! Ah! There we go, there's some good physics punching. Circus of value, etc. Let's hack us a vending machine. You know, I don't miss these hacking games in hindsight. And that, and there we go.
Welcome to the Circus of Value. Come back when you get some
All right.
money, buddy.
Gotta spend money to make money. Get the key from Steinman.
You promised me pretty, Simon. You promised me pretty. Now look at me. Look at me.
You keep an eye peeled for Steinman. The daft bastard set up shop in the surgery wing. You want to find him? Just follow the blood.
Nope. Think. Yep, I was gonna say, isn't there a turret right here?
Machines will short out right in front of you, hit them with electrodes.
So let's do that and then hack it. And I think this is also kind of one of the things that people really like about this game is that you can... The fact that you can hack the AI and control it, I think is actually quite a fun trick. Oh, I'm gonna regret that. Oh no, there we go. One, two. There we go. You are mine now. It's another one needs hacking. And yeah, I feel like it's kind of this, it's kind of ties into that whole immersive sim element of being able to take systems that already exist in the game and then exploiting them for your own purposes. And so the idea of, hey, you can take control of AI characters even if it is just a turret, I think that adds a lot of value for players, because it's like, oh, hey, this is kind of cool. Like, I can exploit this system for my own purposes. I don't have the things I need. Ah, perfect. You are dead now, please. Thank you. Yes. Yes, you are very dead. Ah, too much hacking. I'm already done so many hackings. Oh crap, oh crap. Okay, that's good. We have a bit of space to breathe. And done. Yeah. Only slightly problematic with that stereotype, but fair enough. No, I'm not hacking another one. I'm done hacking things for now.
Hello? Oh, get the door, vulgar little
Okay, I meant to get out this, but that'll do. Perfectly fine. What's up, Daddy-O?
Why do we have two eyes?
Not finished.
No.
You'll have to find some way to get through to surgery and Steinman. Chin up now. The Lord hates a quitter. I can hear that twice they're sounding off like it's the 4th of July. Explosives are hard to come by
Nope,
down here.
he's still out doing his walk. That's fine.
Telekinesis plasmids. You can catch the damn firebombs and toss it right back in his gob. Or else it might be
Oh!
standing in your way.
Yeah, like once we get into this combat sequence. Oh, jings. There's another one.
will never amount to anything.
There we go. So she attacked the turret when she recognized it was under threat.
I'm your best.
Like, the characters themselves don't do an awful lot. Like, I think it's an interesting comparison to the likes of, you know, having just played F.E.A.R on the same stream. We're not seeing that same level of interaction with other systems. I think critically to say that the two of them are the same would be disingenuous, because what F.E.A.R's trying to do versus what BioShock is trying to do, I think, is quite different. We're not really expecting... There is a narrative framing for a lot of that. Like, we're not actually expecting, I don't think, the enemies in BioShock to be ruthlessly intelligent. Because they're meant to be kind of out of their face and kind of crazy on, you know, kind of almost like drug addicts. Whereas I think, you know, if you're dealing with the likes of F.E.A.R, well, actually it's built into the narrative of F.E.A.R that the enemies are super smart. because they are like psychically controlled soldiers. See what I mean? Not very bright. And he disappeared. There we go. Oh. Quickly hack it. So we don't have to deal with it anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this stream where I just hack things for hours on end. Fun for all the family. There we go. Yes, I would agree that the hacking minigame in BioShock 2 I think is better than it is in BioShock 1. After a little while, the drawing out of the pipes gets a little old. I'd say after like 2 puzzles. There we go.
Don't you disrespect me!
Right. Go and get the plasmid. Alrighty, here
Light
we
up
go.
foes to 1,000 degrees. Warning, fire spreads.
So funnily enough, one of the things I've been talking about with BioShock is how it needs to make sure that characters are in places that are useful for the player. So this is, of course, a like hard-crafted sequence. These people are deliberately coming up to the window. Maybe running around a little bit, but by and large, they're there to facilitate a particular purpose. They're there so I can then trigger this plasmid and set them all on fire. But it kind of actually speaks to like what BioShock has to do on a kind of design level, is that, like I said, you've got to make sure that all these characters are actually going to allow the player to use these. It's sort of in the same way how in my episode on the AI of Doom 2016 I talk about how, let's just set these people on fire. I talk about how the enemies, the navigation pathing in Doom 2016 is built to put them in front of the player so that they actually are they're exposing the enemy to go into an interesting location so that you can then glory kill them. Essentially, they're trying to get them out in the open, and this is kind of something that BioShock also has to deal with, in the sense that it has to make sure that these characters are allowing you to use all these features. So they are, you know, they're going to run in front of a hacked turret, they're going to run in front of a hacked camera, they're going to deliberately put themselves in harm's way such that you can capitalize on it. I will take all your booze and all your money, thank you very much. Like, even here, this is sort of, you know, there was water right there to allow us to capitalize on that and use it. Like in each case, and in fact I'm pretty sure this happens here as well. Oh yeah. I will put that there. Goes off to go play some more Far Cry 6. Enjoy. We'll catch you around. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, even on a level design kind of on a game design level, you can see how they're deliberately figuring out how to put all these things together in such a way that it's easier for you to exploit them. That's enough out of you.
Something nasty.
Oh, that didn't work. Notice how she's running off to cover, but she's also running into an area where I can electrocute her. And so it's sort of... Oh. Just use the auto hack, I can't be bothered. I mean, part of it is all part of how the game is designed, but also you can... I would believe if I ever found out how it worked, I would suspect... Ah, no. There is something running under the hood that enables for the AI to better... Oh, come on. This is proving annoying. Oh, come on. Really took. I never knew you were a streamer. How dare you? What? That's a horrendous accusation. You take that back. Nope. I don't even know. There we go. I'm like, where am I going? Oh, thank goodness. So grateful to be done with that. That was such a pain. Oop, shotgun. Again, here we go. It's all about the framing. All the AI here is really just running and lunging at me. But it's the framing of the whole sequence that makes it interesting. Ah, I know, plasmid again. No, you won't teach me shit. You will be quiet. So yeah, it was interesting. You need the chompers, then to... Ah! Yep, we're not going that way. All right. Oh yes, this is the
Throw
telekinesis one.
You can even catch
Alright, we're going to play
grenades
for
and
another
throw them
15
back.
minutes or so and then we'll wrap it up for the stream. But critically, the whole point of this tonight, of course, was to let you see the merits of the AI of each of these games, and then to allow you to vote and decide on which one you think should survive in our current round of player choice. It's important that we make our vote. You all make your vote count, because this is all coming down to yourselves and what you decide should make it through into the quarterfinals.
Keep away from my patients!
Oh. Yeah, I'm hurting myself doing that, but thank you very much. Ow! I didn't. I'm clearly tired.
Work on telekinesis plasmid proceeding well. Lifting objects at distance presents no problem. Moving objects through space. Cannot stop speeding bullets, but can catch the fast-moving object. Problem not with plasmid. Problem with reaction
Alright.
time. Stitch, I'm just getting an idea for plasmid.
Problem solved. Woofed. Well, that was a waste of bullets, but that's fine.
Is somebody there? Nurse! Help me find this patient. Nurse! A noise!
Again, there we go. It's sort of it's creating that framing. It's sort of saying, "Hey, look, these people are quite scary." But once you actually get down to it, so I think there's a lot to be said about the intelligence that you see in BioShock is kind of this interesting mishmash of actual intelligent design, and then sort of encouraging the enemies, the splicers, to enable for the player to utilize certain features or tools of the game much more organically, and then just a lot of clever framing, I think, just in terms of narrative framing, of helping reinforcing to the player the threat that these characters represent, even if they don't necessarily on an individual, like in an individual sense, actually exhibit the level of intelligence that people think. Something is shooting something over there. Ow.
Sister is a criminal offense. Do not
How can I help you if you won't come to me?
Where'd he go? I need him to throw the... Come on, buddy, throw the explosives. There we go.
You ruin everything! Get it
Nope. Oh, I'm about to die. Oh, I think I have had my fill of hacking mini games for one night, that is for sure. There's only so many of these you can do. Alrighty. Don't destroy it anymore. It's our friend now. Just buy it out. Can't be bothered. Just keep hacking, says CDG. Just yeah, it's like finding Dory, right? Just keep hacking, just keep hacking.
What can I do with this one, Aphrodite? She won't stay still! I want to make them beautiful, but they always turn out wrong! That one's too fat! This one...
And again, here we go. It's sort of, we're presenting a character. And I think that's kind of the funny thing about what BioShock does is a lot of this is, you know, it's good framing, but it isn't actually intelligent in most of these instances. Get the armor-piercing rounds on, I think. I hurt him, but I can't see him. There he is. And he is very much dead.
You alright? It was time somebody took care of that sick bastard. Make sure you get the key off Steinman. Head back to
I have got his key. We are good.
I'm working my way to the backside of Port Neptune myself. We'll get there soon enough.
Right. I think we will take this as an opportunity to start wrapping up for the evening. But we had a good little dent into BioShock tonight. You're still with us, aren't you? Come on, guys. Yay! Did the drone just... On yourself, little drone. Doing all the hard work. So I don't have to. That is nicely done.
What's the matter?
Sounds like another tunnel collapse. Welcome to Rapture, the world's fastest growing pilot junk. It's a little one. Here's your chance to get some Adam.
Maybe we'll just stop right here, right when we get the Adam.
Stay away from her, or it is you who will be shot next.
Easy now, Doctor. He's just looking for a wee bit of Adam. Just enough to get by.
I'll not have him hurt my little ones.
It's okay, lad. That's not a child. Not anymore, it ain't. Dr. Tenenbaum saw to that.
Peter, do not hurt her. Help me no hurt.
Aye, that's a pretty sermon coming from the Gulu.
Ah, yes, the moral dilemma. Do you suck the I was going to say, do you suck the children dry? I was like, that's not the way that I meant to phrase that particular thing. But yes, do you suck no, do you drain the children of their Adam, or do you be nice to them, and in turn not get as much Adam as you could do, harvest the children or rescue them? That is, so what is it? So I rescue, I'm not a harvester. It gives you less Adam.
Thank you for helping me.
But it helps you down the... Although it's funny, because if I remember right, that it's really just a dividing line of, like, if you do more, the proportion... If I remember right, all you have to do is kill one of them, and then, like, certain characters just treat you like scum. Which, to be fair, you did just kill a child. But, like, it's not like there's actually, like, a sliding scale in terms of the morality of it.
Gatherer's garden machines. Make sure you pick up a new plasmid or two. That's if the price ain't too dear, of course.
This door gonna open or no? Just add that. That'll do. But yeah, let's just stop that particular game at this point. Let me just bounce over to me, and then we'll save this. And I can start wrapping it up. And surprisingly, the stream has actually been largely smooth for the whole time we've been doing this tonight, which has been quite nice after previous incidents. Well, actually, the last time I played F.E.A.R on stream, it didn't go particularly great. So yeah, just as a reminder, we're still voting on player choice for the fate of these two games and which of them makes it through the next round. So yeah, here you go. Right now, you can, if you're watching on YouTube, there's the poll is linked to in the description for the stream. If you're not and you're watching on Twitch, you can either go over to the AI and Games community tab, or you can look for one of the more recent videos all about the current state of our voting, and you can get in there and vote. And so it's 48 to 50. I wonder if it's changed at all since I started streaming, because I'm pretty sure it was 48 to 52 as well. It's still about 48 to 52. But let's just have a quick read of some of the comments, because I think there's been an interesting discussion going on in here. You know, TF says F.E.A.R's AI beats BioShock's by a long shot. I suspect it's only losing in the poll because the younger gaming crowd doesn't know about and has never played F.E.A.R, so they're just voting based on which two is more recognizable. It's a real shame because in reality it's not even close. So I think there is an interesting point here to make, in that one, I would like to think that people who stick around for this YouTube channel have at least watched one of my videos on F.E.A.R at this point. I mean, come on, there is a reason that we talk about that game. But also, the YouTube community stuff does spread beyond the immediate audience sometimes. So there's a chance that there are people who don't actually watch AI in games who are kind of like, BioShock. Your pal Kindred says, having played both, F.E.A.R has better AI. Even when you strip the game of the illusions that make the AI look smarter than it is, it's still better. I feel like BioShock is winning purely because it's more popular, which is a shame. Now, I wouldn't know. I actually couldn't really speak to which of these two games is the more popular one in the common discourse. I don't know. Do people still look back quite fondly on BioShock? I have no idea at this point. Christopher Raff says, the last time I played F.E.A.R was in the early 2010s, and I still vividly remember certain AI encounters. I played through BioShock again last year when I got my Steam Deck and can't remember a single solitary fight that stood out. How are these even competing, and how is BioShock winning? So, it's funny because it seems, you know, particularly reading the comments, that we've not really had many advocates for we've not really had any advocates for BioShock in the comments. It's all people that are just annoyed that it's not getting, that F.E.A.R isn't getting the love that they want. BioShock sucks. It says broken. Well, fair enough. But yeah, that's kind of where we are, I think, right now with the poll as it currently stands. And if I just quickly get back into our running. So remember, whichever of these two games, F.E.A.R or BioShock, whichever one of them wins is going to make it into the quarterfinals. And we have a whole bunch of other games that ideally I would like to come back and do a little bit of streaming of some of the other games that are up for contention later in the week. I might see if I can do that. It really comes down to time and availability. But I'm thinking I'd be quite happy to come on and maybe play maybe a bit of Quake 3 and Halo 2, or maybe some Halo Combat Evolved and Far Cry. Because I've started playing the Far Cry 3 remaster that was part of the Far Cry 5 bundle. I started playing that recently off the back of the previous stream, but then I've just been playing more of it because I've been enjoying playing Far Cry 3 again. So yeah, this is where we currently are, and this is what our content, we were all about F.E.A.R and BioShock tonight. So don't forget to get your votes in for that, and I look forward to seeing. We're going to keep the voting open this round until every game has had its moment in the spotlight. I will make an announcement as to when the closing date for voting is, and we'll see how it goes from there. But soon, I want to try and get through these pretty quickly, and then we can dig into the quarter and semi-finals a little bit more. All right. With that, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for tuning in to this first time, I believe, that we've ever actually streamed on AI and Games Plus, which was quite exciting. And for our continuation of all things player choice. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I hope you all have a great evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And we'll be back soon with a little bit more streaming of some of these top quality titles. I realize I'm moving around the diagram and you can't even see it now. But it's running late, and I need my beauty sleep, as you can clearly tell. So yeah, thanks for watching, folks. Y'all take care of yourselves. Stay safe. And I'll be back at some point. Probably later in the week. Tommy, just get to the credits. Go. Do it. And mute the microphone while you're at it.